So a lot of you have been asking me to do a shop update, which I haven't done in a while, and the reason is I've been extremely busy working in the shop. Tuners are now in stock, so tuner brakes are in stock. If you want to get one, go to the website. They are in stock. If you want a black one, they are on back order, but they're coming this week, but they're gonna start shipping next week. So if you want a tuner brake, go get you one. They're in stock now. In the meantime, we are finally moving to full automation. Anyway, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So as you can see, the lathe is working all by itself. Now that the program has been proved, has been ran a bunch of times, I've made all the edits that I need to make. It's nice and reliable, and it's doing its thing. As you can see, it has made 20 out of 57 so far. Right now what it's doing is making the timing nuts. And see if you guys can see. By the way, you see that? That is the, no, you can't see that. But anyway, that is the tool holder that I drilled to make it a through coolant, and it worked amazingly well. But anyway, here it comes. Spits it out. And there it goes. As you can see, there's some already in here. That works great. The problem is that every 2.5 hours, I have to come in here, because that's how long it takes to run those 57 parts. 2.5 hours, I come in here, I take out the bar, and I feed it another bar in here, right? That's the limitation at this point. The length of the bar is the limitation. The bars are 4 feet long, so once that bar is done, the lathe stops, and they can't do anything else. So I cannot get away from this machine for longer than 2.5 hours. Having said that, at night, I cannot run at night. So what I do is I come in here sometimes at midnight. I run all day, and sometimes I'm in here at midnight loading another bar, and then it runs until about 2:30 in the morning, and I'm asleep, right? Then I wake up really early, come and feed another bar. As you can see, it's great, but at the same time, it's not very efficient. It's efficient, but not as efficient as it could be. Well, this is gonna solve that problem. This is a bar feeder from ATS. This thing is gonna do what I've been doing, which is when the lathe runs out of bar, it's gonna send a signal to the bar feeder. The bar feeder is gonna keep bars in here. When the lathe is ready for another bar, the bar feeder is gonna feed the lathe another bar, and it's just gonna keep going. This is full automation, finally. Now, originally I wanted to get a bar feeder with the lathe, but as you guys know, I'm doing this debt free, so I need to save up some more money. That's just how it is. Like I said, I was the bar feeder for a couple of months. Now we saved up some money, now we're getting a bar feeder, and it's gonna be amazing. Anyway, that's what we're doing today. We're hooking up a bar feeder to the Mori. Alright, so there you have it. That's it. That's all it takes. Thank you. I'm joking. So the reason for those bars on the bottom, I don't know if you guys noticed, but it has rollers. And the reason for that is I'm going to be able to push this feeder out of the way so that whenever I need to change liners in the spindle, I push the feeder out of the way, change the liners, whatever I need to do, and then I can just pull it back, just like it's doing right there. See that? So, very simple. Once it's installed, obviously it's going to be installed in line with that spindle right there. I'm going to turn the lathe off here shortly so that he can work. But yeah, I mean, it's a very simple piece of equipment, but as you can imagine, It is pretty advantageous once it's set up, because this will finally turn this into a fully automated operation. What that means is it's finally going to be able to work while I sleep, which is obviously, it's going to be amazing. Because I haven't been sleeping much these last few months, because I've been trying to keep this thing fed so that I can get, you know, brakes made. These brakes are done. They're waiting. This is what we're making right now, these the timing nuts. And after we're done with those timing nuts, I'm going to set it up to make tuners. So again, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. Another thing that I did is we had these bins for chips, and they were great for a while, but they were a nightmare. So I got one of these things, which are amazing, because now when it fills up, I come in here with the skid steer, I pick it up, I take it outside, and outside I have a dumpster, a metal dumpster dedicated only for chips. So I go over there, dump it out, come back, set it down, it's done. Like I said, we started with these bins and that didn't work. That conveyor, it you know, as you can imagine, every time those chips fall, there's coolant in there. So we had made this table where the chips would fall in here, and this thing has holes on the bottom. So while they sat there, the coolant would flow through, and then it would fall into there where it has a drain, and the drain is elevated so that it wouldn't suck down any junk. And then the coolant would go through this hose and go back into the tank. We're not doing that anymore. We're just gonna do this. I don't think I'm gonna lose that much coolant. I mean, this thing is amazing. It's so convenient. But yeah, that's what's going on. All right, let me let him work, and I'll come back and I'll show you what's going on. Because we also have to link it to the lathe, because the lathe has to communicate with the bar feeder and all that good stuff. So I'm sure he has to do some programming in here. Plus, he's also going to train me on how to run the bar feeder. They have to line up the bar feeder with a spindle, and as you can tell, he's got it pretty well lined up. The bars, I'll show you. The bars are going to be loaded back here, which, as you can see, is at an angle. Then when the lathe sends a signal to the bar feeder that it needs more bar, these I don't know what to call them, forks. Anyway, they're going to move out of the way. It's going to load another bar, and then it's going to push it into the spindle. Okay, and then of course the lathe's going to open the chuck and all that good stuff. He's setting up all the electrical here. It's got these bolts right here. You loosen those bolts, and then right there where its ratchet is, it's got a lead screw. You turn that, and it adjusts the height on the bar feeder. Once it's adjusted, it shouldn't have to be moved. Once it has everything in place, it's going to be anchored to the concrete, and like I said, I'm going to be able to, when I need to, push it out of the way so I can replace the spindle liner. Or if I just don't want to use a bar feeder, I can move the bar feeder out of the way and then just use the lathe as I was using it before the bar feeder. So yeah, exciting times. Obviously the lathe is off because he needs to work on it, but once this happens, this thing's technically going to be able to run 24/7. Finally going to be able to make parts while I sleep. In the meantime, we have these brakes in stock, so go get you one, because now they're in stock. Unless you want a black one, those are going to be in stock next week. But yeah, exciting times, trust me. So little sleep in the last few months that this is just going to make things all that better. They are using a string right here. It's hooked up back here. They pull it tight. As you can see, it is not centered right now, but that's the whole point. They're making it centered. So they just run it all the way through the spindle. They have a chuck right here. Well, actually this round piece looks similar to this one. Has a hole right through the middle. we clamped it in the chuck and pulled it tight, and then he just put those vice grips on the cable, and that's holding it tight. But anyway, so this is the final adjustment. When he's done with it, this wire is going to be perfectly through the center of the bore of the lathe. This interface, we have the E button pressed on this one, and you can see the lathe is red, and look at the message that we're getting. Barfeeder emergency stop signal on. The lathe is already communicating with the barfeeder, so they're gonna talk to each other, and like I said, whenever the lathe needs another bar, it's gonna send a signal to the barfeeder and say, hey, get me another bar, so on and so forth. Pretty cool.
So I got it all lined up. So to be able to slide in that easy with just one finger. You can kind of test it, make sure it's not hitting anything when it goes in and out.
Yeah, I see. Perfect.
Nice and smooth it is.
Yeah.
So if something gets bumped or out of alignment,
then
you can just follow those same procedures that I just showed you to get it back into alignment.
Loosen the concrete anchors if I want to move it back or forth.
Yeah, for side to sides, you would loosen you can loosen 3 of them or 4, and then just knock it side to side. And if you need to raise it up and down, then you would loosen these 4 here, and then with an 8mm coming through the hole here, you can either use this jacking bolt, or up underneath here, you can see where it's got this,
I see.
this nut here.
Yep.
You just put a crescent wrench on there and raise and lower that.
Okay, perfect.
And when you do that, you should only need to adjust this front end right here if you have to do any adjustments at all.
Okay. All right, I mean, that looks pretty good. And obviously, show me how you push it back.
Yeah, to push it back, you just stand on that.
Look at that. It gets out of the way, then I can change the liners, whatever I need to do.
Yeah.
Man, look at the size of the disc brake. Whew. Massive. All right, so it's like almost 10 p.m. I'm still here in the shop. The bar feeder has been installed, and I've been testing it, and it's freaking amazing. So you can hear the lathes going. It has one more part to go, and then it's gonna feed a bar. So I want you to see that, because that is freaking amazing. The bars are loaded. I got 4 bars on there. As you can see, I can load a lot of bars. There's only 4, but I can load bars all the way to here. So yeah, I can fit a lot of these bars. And you know, as you can see, it doesn't take up that much space. It's pretty compact. But anyway, so the lathe's going on here, doing its thing. And once it pulls that bar again, there's a code in the we added some code to the program that lets, every time the program runs, it runs that code, and it subtracts the length of the part from the bar, and the bar feeder knows how long the bar is to begin with. So every time it runs, it subtracts 1. So it knows how many parts it still can make, and it's on the last one. There it goes. It's about to pull the bar. And see where it says handlebar, it says off. See, handlebar on, parts remaining 0. So now the bar feeder knows. There it goes. It's loading another bar. There it goes. They loaded a bar. It'll have it ready. Now, when that part is done and it ejects, it'll go into the cycle that loads the new bar. All right. There it goes. It's gonna go into another program now. Boom, there it is, bar feeder reload. There it goes, the chuck opened. There goes the bar. Boom. Loaded the new bar. It's gonna stick out. There. Hope you guys can see that. Then it stuck out the precise amount. And then the lathe starts again. That's all there is to it. It's amazing. That's something that I would have had to do. I come out here, like I said, at midnight. It's 10 p.m. right now, so I'd be here right now loading a bar. Then I'd be back like at midnight, load another bar. And then I go to sleep, and then I come back really early in the morning. Anyway, this thing is amazing. So, yeah, I'm loving it. Freaking loving it so far. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna stop the lathe. Once this part is done, I'm gonna stop the lathe, check all the tooling, make sure everything's good, make sure we have enough oil, coolant, all that. And then I'm gonna run a cycle that's gonna run all through the night. I've never done that, obviously, but hopefully in the morning when I wake up, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna have a lot of good parts. That's gonna be amazing. Anyway, I'm excited. The shop's coming along. You guys can see, you guys saw all this already, I think. Now, this is something you guys haven't seen. We are adding a sink, a dishwasher, and we're adding some more shelves over here, or countertops, and some more stuff over here. So we're still working here slowly but surely, and yeah, things are great. Again, tuner brakes are in stock, so if you want one, go get you one. All right, so it's the next day in the morning and the lathe is off. Let's see what's wrong with it. So it made 62 parts. And it got stuck trying to eject the part. So let's see what's going on here. So the part itself is not stuck, it's the plunger. What's happening is we're getting some buildup of chips in there that prevents a plunger from pushing out. See, there's some chips in there. And it's not much, but all he has to do is prevent the plunger from pushing out. And then the lathe thinks that it didn't eject the part, which actually it didn't, right? And it alarms out because next time it tries to come and grab a part, you don't want to crash. So, I mean, that's actually a good thing that it does that. But that just tells me that I'm gonna have to edit the program possibly so that I don't push chips into the chuck. There's not many in there, but anyway, that's what's happening. Other than that, I mean, look at that. I'm not gonna complain. But if it had run all night, this bin would be full. But work in progress. The part that was in the chuck, I checked it. It's to spec, which tells me all these are good parts. So before I go any further, I'm going to take these out, put them in the bin here, and like I said, these are all good parts. So that's the good news. But before I do anything else, I'm going to clean out this chuck. See, there's hardly any chips in there, but all it took is one of these. So I guess the program's good because there's hardly any chips in there. This is what did it. Oh man. Oh well. I'm gonna clean it out either way. So now we're gonna go ahead and make another part so we can see the bar feed. And of course, we're gonna get a lot of coolant on the window, so you're not gonna be able to see. on the setup, I put in how big the part is. It's not only the part, but also the cutoff. So pretty much how much gets used up every time a part is made. Which for this part is about 3/4, well, it's not about, it is 3/4 of an inch, okay? So it says right there 3/4 of an inch. The end of bar is 2 1/4 inches. So if there's less than 2 1/4 inches inside the chuck when it's time to do a push out more material, then it's gonna signal end of bar, which is gonna signal a bar feed. And like I said, if there's less than 2 1/4 inches inside the chuck, it's just gonna push that part out. The reason for that is I leave the part sticking out 2 inches, so I need 2 1/4. Right now it's feeding. It's gonna signal the end of bar. Yep, see, end of bar is on because it already called the code. Here comes the new bar. Once it signals, it sends it, once it knows it's end of bar, then it calls to load another bar, and then it's waiting for the other code in the program, which is actually at the beginning of the program. So when the program starts again, it's gonna know it's end of bar, and at that point it's gonna signal a bar feed. Here it comes. Right there. There it goes. Okay, it pushed out the whatever was left. Here it comes, sticks out, precise amount, and it starts all over again. Just like that. I'm gonna stop it right here. So this is what it pushed out. Like I said, it sticks out 2 inches, so it didn't have enough to make another part without it falling out, so it just pushes it out. And of course it falls here, and it goes into the chip bin. It ends up over here, which is fine because I'm not going to use it anymore. Back to the bar feeder. Every time it runs, it knows how many parts, it keeps track of how many parts are remaining, because it knows how long the bar is, and it knows how much to subtract from every bar every time the program runs. So that's how it keeps track. So right now this bar can still make 58 parts. And like I said, once it gets to 0, it'll flag the end of bar, and then the next time the program runs, it calls the sub-program that runs the bar feeder, and as you guys saw, it feeds another bar, and all is good. It's pretty awesome, really. Had it not been for that chip, I would have had a lot more parts made last night, but like I said, it's okay. It's great. I'm okay with it. The other thing that I'm gonna hook up very soon, and I already have it, I just haven't hooked it up, is you can see I have a data cable right here. This data cable I'm gonna hook up to my lathe, and then the lathe is going to be able to signal me when something is wrong. At least that's the way I understand it. Messenger. It has a messenger app. So I'm gonna set it up, and I'm assuming this thing's gonna be able to let me know when there's an issue. I'm hoping that's how it works, because if that's the case, I can leave it running right now. For example, I can go and do something else, load ammo or something, and if there's an issue, this thing will let me know. That means I can come back in here, whatever. But yeah, so far I'm amazingly happy with the bar feeder. It's a no-brainer, to be honest with you. But like I said, I didn't get it from the get-go because I needed to save some more money. But yeah, it was worth it, to be honest with you. All those I mean, we're sitting here late June for a few months. This is stuff that you guys didn't see, but I was out here at night, early mornings, whatever, feeding bark to the lathe. And that's just what I needed to do to save up money to buy the bar feeder. But now it's here. Now it's here, so we should be able to drastically increase production now. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one. Keep them centered.